Hey everyone, welcome to Sharp Focus Golf. My name is Chris Doris and I'm the mental coach here. And here in this initial video, what I want to share with you is really the answer to the question, hey Chris Doris, if you were only allowed to share one thing ever with the golfers that you coach, what would that one thing be? Well, this is it. So this is what I consider to be the most fundamental and powerful, important, valuable practice to develop mastery in of them all. Okay? And the shortest way of describing it is it's the ability to master your emotions. My definition of mental toughness, and I doubt that you'll find this anywhere else in the world. You're not going to Google this, or if you Google mental toughness, you won't see this. It is the hard earned ability to respond to all of life rapidly with grace, mastery, creative genius, and enthusiasm so that you can get quickly to the creation of excellence with least effort. So now let's golfify that. So mental toughness in the game is the ability that's earned through practice. All right, so all the videos that I've recorded for this program are all practices. They're disciplines, right? So mental toughness is the hard-earned ability to respond to everything that goes on everything that goes on the golf course rapidly with grace, mastery, creative genius, with competence and enthusiasm so that you can get to the creation of awesomeness and badassery rapidly with least effort. That's pretty cool. And it takes a lot of work. And I'm not even remotely exaggerating when I say, what we're working towards here through our mental toughness training is like, what's the end game here is that everything that happens, I respond instantly because I've rehearsed it. It's automatic and it's habitual now with, like, at worst, curiosity. Like, that's at worst. It's like, why did it go in the woods? Because that's not where I wanted it to go. How did I create that? Right? All right, and what can I create from this next shot? Like, how did I do that? Because that actually shot. Every shot, by the way, is perfect for a certain circumstance, right? So that one that went left into the woods when I wanted to go straight to the green wasn't the circumstance that was perfect for. But if I can take like even 2 seconds, because I got that time, after I snipe it, to go, how did I create that? Like, could I do that on purpose? Because I might want to at some point later today or someday soon, and just give that a couple seconds of reflection. And if you got nothing, then don't move on and get into, all right, now what can I go create for the next thing? That's like the worst case scenario. And in fact, that's perfect. That is a perfect way to that's what we're working towards. So there's no, we got to get past all that. That's just a complete waste of time. It is all learned. It's totally learned. I'm going to do a whole separate video, a very cool, funny video, but profound, funny and profound, which is a nice combo, on an experiment that I did when I was just thinking about becoming a mental coach, right? An experiment that I did at a golf course with kids and adults on attitudes. So anyway, our anger's all learned, all right, and practiced and then mastered. And what it does is it has us be stupid, period. It is simple as that. Our angry responses on the golf course are stupid, the end. They don't make us amazing. All right. So compared to like enthusiasm and confidence and competence and expertise, it's like so stupid to spend so much time frustrated. The whole game is just such a privilege to be able to play in the first place. So it's just like Luda. So anyway, the definition again, one more time, of mental toughness is the ability that's earned through practice and training, right? The ability to respond rapidly to everything that goes down on the golf course, everything that goes down, with grace and mastery and enthusiasm and creative genius and confidence and competence so that you can get rapidly to the creation of awesomeness, which is what we're designed for. All right, so now, there have been many great minds over history that have articulated the following in different ways. So we'll start with Lao Tzu, the ancient Chinese philosopher. When you get your head right, everything else falls into place. He said, when you get your mind right. Buddha said, save this one. Your whole life unfolds according to the way that you think. That bears repeating. Your whole life. And therefore, of course, your game unfolds according to the way that you think. And like, ask yourself the question, how much formal, specific training like this is, have you had in your life on how to become a thought warrior and therefore an emotional master? That's what we're doing here. That's the most fundamental practice. It's the ability to master your states, because how you feel governs how you play, right? In fact, we can go ahead and change this word from do, since we're talking about golf here, to play. All right, how I think governs my moods or how I feel, which governs how I play, which of course governs what the results are for my game. Okay, and it all starts with thinking. William James is arguably the father of modern day psychology. He said it too. He's like, as a person thinketh, so shall they become. There's millions of iterations. Thoughts become things. Where attention goes, energy flows. There's just like millions of different iterations. It's all the same stuff. It's like my life starts with my thoughts. My game starts with my thoughts. All right, how much training have you had? Well, here we go. If you had none, well, yay, because this is going to be nice for you. And by the way, this and every single other tool that I cover in all the tons of videos that I've created for this program, of course, I'm delivering them all in the language of golf, and they all can be applied to maybe everything else in your life. So I'm here to have you, to share mental toughness tools with you, right? To have you, to serve your game, right? But please know that your life is your training ground. You will not be only practicing these techniques and tools and technologies and disciplines on the golf course. Of course you will. But you'll be getting more practice in all the rest of your life and then bringing these skills, this mastery to your game. Okay, so let's go through it. I call this the freedom formula because when you get it and you do the practice that we're going to wrap it up with, you're freeing yourself from the conditioning of your past, stuff you've learned and picked up along the way that ain't serving you. Okay, in fact, it's actually hurting you. It's having you unnecessarily settle, struggle, and suffer. It's having you unnecessarily struggle on the golf course. Seriously. Just think about how effortless it is for you to get pissed off when the ball doesn't go where you wanted it to, which is like almost every shot, right? Golf is not a game of perfect, as Bob Rotella said, his perfect title, because it's not. It's a game of you being amazing with what happens and creating excellence out of it. So this is the freedom formula, and it all starts, as I mentioned, with our thoughts. All right. So let's say, I do a lot of public speaking for companies on mental toughness, right? And public speaking is the number one human fear. I don't know if you knew that, but like people are generally more afraid of public speaking than they are of dying. So let's take the public speaking example, right? Say I'm going into a pub, I got to talk, I got a keynote or something to give right in front of thousands of people. Right, and it's a big company, and you're like, I stand to benefit a lot. Could lead to a whole bunch of new business and blah blah blah, right? And I'm going beforehand, and I'm thinking stuff to myself like this, like I'm going negative here. I'm thinking low grade. Listen to the language I use here. So it's before the talk starts, right? And I'm just sitting around waiting. I got a couple hours before I go on a stage, right? And it's being broadcast to other countries and stuff. And there's like 1,500 people in this big room in Vegas. And I'm sitting in my room waiting, and I'm thinking stuff like this. Man, I hope I don't screw this up. This could go sideways. How many... Oh God, I love talking, but I always go on these damn tangents. It's like, and a lot of times I can't even remember where I was. What if I just freeze? What if they hate it? This company doesn't know anything about who the hell I am. Right? If that's the language that I'm choosing to fill my mind with, did you guys catch that language? If that's the thinking, the quality of thinking that I'm choosing to fill my mind with, if that's the quality of thought content that I'm pumping through my mind in those moments, how am I making myself feel? Yeah, you know it. Terrible. Scared to death. If I do it well enough, I'll create panic. Right? That's anxiety. That's where all of anxiety, by the way, comes from low-grade thinking. Like serious anxiety or chronic anxiety comes from chronic low-grade thinking. It is as simple as that. So if I'm thinking those horrible, like super weak, undisciplined, low grade thoughts, which I've learned to do, we all have, then I'm creating really low grade states like anxiety or maybe even panic. And when I feel those states, how am I likely to perform? Well, we know. Look, let's be excited, by the way, about how simple this is. I love simple, profound. That's like my favorite combo platter, maybe second to steak and potatoes. But let's be psyched about the fact that this like seriously couldn't get simpler. Right? So the worse I think, the worse I feel, the worse I feel, the worse I do. And the worse I do, of course, is the least likelihood of me ever of getting the outcome that I want. In this example of speaking, the outcomes that I'd be shooting for would be to have fun doing an amazing job of serving humans. So let's use that as a segue. Now let's think about the alternative. I'm sitting in my room before I go give a keynote, and instead I am opting. I am choosing to proactively pump my mind full of thoughts like this, which we will indicate by the plus sign, right? Positive thoughts. Say I'm thinking to myself, I'm choosing to think to myself, man, how good is this? Like how good is my life that I create these opportunities? This is incredible. I'm getting paid to go do what I love. And I'm amazing. I'm like amazing at it. Every time I do this, I get incredible, humbling, beautiful, heartwarming, infinitely rewarding feedback from people. And then I get messages later where they talk about how they've applied these tools in their personal lives and use them with their kids. And I get these emails and I'm like, I get to deliver the goods, and I'm truly spectacular at this. How grateful am I? How could this seriously be better? Like, I love this. It's like my life purpose. I'm getting paid handsomely, and it's heartwarming. Like, I'm sorry. How is this? Let's go. Right? Now, what if I'm choosing that? It is a choice. All it is, choice. By the way, might want to slow that down. You choose your thoughts. So let's start practicing being way better at that. If I'm thinking those things, how am I making myself feel? If that's the stuff, I'm sitting there at the Wynn in Vegas, got 2 hours before I go up on a stage to do a keynote for a multi-billion-dollar international company, which could lead to a whole lot of really nice things. If that's what here's how I'm making myself feel. With those thoughts, I am making myself feel amazing. I am making myself feel excited as hell. I'm making myself feel enthused. I'm making myself feel grateful. I'm making myself feel expert. And those, as you know, are the emotional states that maximize the probability, no guarantee, but way maximize the probability of kicking ass, of being amazing, which of course maximizes the probability of getting those outcomes that I said I wanted, which was, to send people home with like real practical, instantaneously simple and profound tools and techniques that they can use in all areas of their lives to have every one of those areas of their lives elevate. All right, I'm there. My mission is to leave that room having people, hopefully every person in that room or tuning in from wherever they are in the world, leave with at least one or two super simple, immediately useful tools that will help upgrade their experience of life. And the probability of that, and having fun doing it. Probability of that happening, it all starts with my thinking. Right? And these are so let's go here. All day long, we are interpreting reality in one of three ways. This sucks. I don't care. This is awesome. Some variation of those three. Well, there's no variation of I don't care. That's just like isness, is neutral, total neutral. That's why I put the null sign there to represent neutral. Right? So all day, every day, we're interpreting reality in one of three ways. Okay? Low grade, neutral, or high grade. Okay? So now, here's the practice. The practice, again, this is the most fundamental discipline or practice for mental toughness that exists. is being able to elevate your state. There's a mantra that I love to use. I use a lot of mantras, and like short, cool phrases with volumes of value and information within them to speed up the rate at which I can elevate my state. And one of them is create the state, don't wait. Well, you might go, what? Create what state? I don't care. Well, I don't know. What's the state that's going to have you be amazing right here at this shot? What's the state that's going to have you be amazing on walking to the first tee? What's the state that's going to have you be amazing standing over this 6-footer? You know, one of the other, and by the way, one of the other videos, one of the tools is game face, which happens to be the mood that you are in. The unique mood that you, not Tiger, not Annika, right? The unique mood that you're in when you're at your best, right? And that's a handy one to create. So, time out. All of this, again, to keep this in perfectly clear context, is the tool that it's a reminder that you have the ability to to totally and profoundly manipulate your states in every moment of your life without having to wait for anything in the world to be different. You can alter your states, and the better you feel, the better you are, but only always and only at everything. I'll repeat that. The better you feel, the better you are, but only always and only at everything. All right? So, what we want to start doing is paying close attention. I love to say that the most mentally tough, happiest, successful people will have those three things be all inextricably intertwined, right? Mentally tough, happiest, most successful people. They choose to live in a perpetual state of self-inquiry. Let me tell you what that means. They're always asking themselves, like always, another mantra, no seconds off. They take no time off from this. How am I thinking right now? Like, how am I feeling right now? How am I feeling right now? So it's self-inquiry. You're checking in on the internal climate. How am I doing right now? Like, what's my mood? What mood am I thinking my way into right now? And is it like smart? Is it certain? Do I want to tweak it? Do I want to totally change it? Or do I want to keep it? Right? These are high-level, super sophisticated, disciplined questions, right? That the most mentally tough people live in. They live in these questions, right? They exist perpetually in this self-inquiry. How am I feeling right now? Could it use some love, right? Is it going to have me be amazing right now? I'm feeling pretty nervous. I'm not even choosing that one. That I must be thinking like a scrub right now. So here's the practice, is it right? It's called catch, own, and replace. I'm just going to abbreviate it with COR. Catch, because there's not enough room to write all this stuff. Catch, own, and replace. That is the practice. That is the mother lode here. Catch, own, and replace. Well, what is it that you're catching? You're catching yourself when you're feeling uncool, inappropriately timed, like feeling uncool when you can't afford to. By the way, there's nothing inappropriate or uncool even, right, or weak about having low-grade states. We just do it way too much and in very untimely circumstances. Like when I'm competing. I got time for that. So we're going to have this zero here. It's actually an O. We're going to have it. It actually stands for the observation line. Observation. Okay? Remember, I said we're all day long, we're interpreting reality in one of three ways. Low grade, neutral, which is an observation, or high grade. An observation is a neutral interpretation of reality. This is a black dry erase marker. Today is a Friday. That's just information. That is isness. There's no emotional charge on that yet. It's just data, right? Now, if I say today's Friday, oh, that's so cool. I love it's the weekend. And there's a party tonight. And my Phillies start the playoffs tomorrow. This is nice. So now these are all just opinions, right? Interpretations, right? And now I've brought a high grade charge into it, right? Or, I'll say, oh, God, it's Friday. That means the Phillies start and they're playing the Braves, and the Braves are like by far the best team in baseball right now, and we have not played well against them. So if that's where I'm going with this, then that now I'm just putting a low-grade interpretation. It's all on me, right? That's why it's called the freedom formula, right? Because we're freeing ourselves from the conditioning of our past. We're also free to choose how we interpret all of life, all of it. Every shot, every outcome, every event, every circumstance in our lives, right? So I want to catch myself when I am below, we're calling this the O line. This, the observation line, we call it the O line, right? So one of my phrases, living above the O line. I want to live above the O line. So you want to catch yourself when you're feeling uncool, right? When you're like frustrated, disappointed, like overly nervous, any of the myriad of low grade states that don't lead to the creation of excellence or don't have you be amazing. Because when you think about your best performances of your life, by the way, do that for a second. Just think like the best round of your life. Yeah, you felt amazing. You felt maybe not the whole time, but like at some point you're like, this is nice. And you weren't angry. You weren't like scared to death. You were feeling pumped. You were feeling excellent. You were feeling skilled and athletic. And that's our normal. That's our normal. So we want to be that person more. So I want to catch myself when I'm not being that guy or that gal, right? I want to catch myself when I'm below the O line, and then the next step is to own it. All right, let me tell you what I mean by own it. And this is powerful. Like this is the get out of jail free card, right? The ownership phrase is, I'm not feeling frustrated because the ball just went sideways. I'm feeling frustrated because I'm thinking like a rookie right now about that. Now you're free. You have taken total. You're not blaming anything. Oh, I can't. What did you see that bounce? I just got screwed. All right, that's where you hit it there. Okay, you hit it on the sprinkler head. So like that's where it went there because you. So own it. All right, don't blame anything external, anything or anyone ever. Gee, that guy sneezed right in the middle of my damn. So well, then you might need to focus a little bit better, my friend. Stop practicing blame. Don't be a victim of circumstance, right? This is about being a creator. And so ownership is the opposite of being a victim of circumstance. You're owning all outcomes in your life, okay? Especially your states, right? So I'm not frustrated right now because the ball hit something weird, went sideways. I'm feeling frustrated because of the way I'm thinking about that right now, which is gonna need a little love, right? And that's the last step, is to replace your thought content right now, right? To get above the O line. Use any of the mantras, or we're going to be covering tons of mantras in the rest of the videos. Tons of great mantras that are super useful and help you rapidly. Like ain't bad just is the great neutralizer mantra, right? And that just gets you, hey, it ain't bad. It ain't bad. I don't believe in bad shots. It's just shots. Some go where I wanted, some where I didn't, right? And now what I do is I go get it, right? So, and there's tons of other mantras like, what can I create from this? What can I create from this? Or just speak to yourself well. Just say, all right, it's not what I wanted. It's not where I wanted it to go. Is there any learning in it? And like, let's go get it and create some excellence because I'm a badass and that's all I do. Let's go. Just make sure you're talking well to yourself. And it doesn't have to be super happy thoughts. It's whatever you damn want. But geez, please stop. Please interrupt and start eliminating the automatic super negativity that you've learned by just watching other and listening to other golfers and even like mentors maybe and pros and all that. And watching people react with extreme negativity. Is it normal? Yeah. Is it helpful? No. So that's the practice. Catch, own, and replace. You're catching yourself when you're below the O line or feeling inappropriately, or when you're feeling anything unpleasant, when you don't want to and you can't afford to, right? And then you're owning it by saying, I'm not feeling this way because of what's going on. I'm feeling this way because of how I'm thinking about what's going on. And the final step is to replace your thought, right? And when you replace your thought, when you replace a low-grade thought with a high-grade thought, you're replacing your low-grade state with a high-grade state, maximizing the probability of creating excellence and being a badass, which is precisely what we are designed to do and be as humans. I hope to see you on the other side. We got a ton more goodies. This is probably going to be the longest of all of the videos, but this is the first one, and I wanted to share, like I said in the very beginning, and we'll wrap with this. If I was only allowed to share one thing with people through my work, what we just covered in the last 24 minutes is it. Create miracles.